Hello, Lena. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We've previously spoken a few times. You even shared your story on my website, which I'm very grateful for. And I thought it would be really, really nice to have you here for a little, not so much like an interview, but just a little to give us all a bit of an insight on how it feels to be going through postnatal depression, which you have overcome yourself. And I know you've used NLP techniques to do this, and so I'm very curious to know how you did it. And I want this to be inspirational for all of those mummies who don't feel like there is a way out, or who are hitting that lowest point and don't know where to turn. So tell us a little bit about your postnatal depression story.
Well, hi everybody. My postnatal depression started when my first daughter was born. It was almost 4 years ago, so it was a while ago. And it was a very mild depression. I was at my best, but I wasn't even my lowest. So I really struggled to recognize the signs of what was really going on. And I didn't ask for any help back then because I wasn't really sure if it was just part of adjusting to being a mother or there was something else going on. And I didn't have much support around me. So it was all like surviving day by day. And now that I look back at it, I can say I should have asked for a bit of help for sure. But somehow I managed. But then 14 months ago, my second son was born. And it was a massive downhill from there.
Right.
That was when postnatal depression really hit hard.
Right.
And it was more or less a year ago that I was sitting on the kitchen floor and I was just thinking, I am done. I'm done being a mother. And my older daughter, she was crying in the living room because we just had an argument. And I remember she was screaming and crying and sobbing, and she just fell asleep. And I was in the kitchen with my newborn baby just on the floor because I couldn't even hold him. And I was just crying and crying. He was crying. Everybody was crying. It was a mess.
Everybody, including you.
Yeah. Yep. And I couldn't even get myself to pick up my baby or go in the living room, or I just was thinking, I cannot do this. I'm done. And at the point I realized I cannot stay here like this. It is too much. So I took the phone and I called the child line for help. And I couldn't even talk on the phone. It was so...
You were really overwhelmed.
Yeah, it was so much. And the lady on the other side was lovely. I don't know how she can do it because she had a mess. I was just crying and crying. And after 10 minutes, I managed to start saying something to her. And we talked for a half hour. And she managed to get me to a calmer place. And then she suggested that I would call the health visitor or go to the GP and get some information because I really needed some support.
So before we get to the treatment part and the people that you reached out to, I just wanted to get go more in depth with what type of feelings made you reach that point. I mean, were you feeling unfit to be a mom? Were you just feeling really anxious? What made you go, okay, I'm done?
It was a general feeling of overwhelm that was just building up. Mm-hmm. And it was like I couldn't even have a shower. There were so many negative thoughts going on in my head, like that my kids will be better off with someone else because I couldn't even really look after them. I mean, I could feed them, but that's not enough in my book.
Yeah, well, you want it to be more than that, more than just a provider. Yeah.
Ideally, I would like just not to be the one who just gives food, but also the one that provides love and comfort and security.
Of course.
And I wasn't there. I was just I was getting up in the morning, dreading the day, and feeling like, oh my God, this is another day, and it would go so bad.
So you were stuck. Would you say you were stuck in a cycle where you would just wake up in the morning and feel like you were just surviving, and not really finding purpose in being a mom?
I wasn't finding purpose in being a mom, but also I wasn't finding purpose in being myself. I was just
as a woman.
Yeah, I was just no purpose, and that was really difficult also to admit to myself.
Absolutely, because we I think that happens to a lot of moms, and that happened to me when I went through my own postnatal depression. Nobody really tells you a lot of things, but nobody really tells you how important it is to have that self-awareness as a woman in order to be able to take on motherhood. And I feel like if I could, there should be a place, a safe space for women who want to become mothers, where they should have the opportunity to have that inner growth, and that self-awareness to then be ready to enter motherhood. I mean, it's just so vital, because when you are a happy mom and when you are a happy woman, when you're a happy woman, then you will be a happy mom. It will just happen automatically. But if you're not prepared for it, and I know nobody is prepared for motherhood. However, there has to be a level of inner growth and inner connectivity with yourself as a woman in order to then go through that transition in a way that is going to just make it easier to cope with the unpredictability of, every day walking into motherhood. So a lot of people underestimate this, and that's what happens. Then we fall into depression because we don't know how to cope. We don't know how to handle it. So when did you realize that was enough, that you were just going to not settle for that type of mediocrity that depression put you in?
When I put down the phone after that call, it just hit me. This is not a life I want to live. This sucks. Sorry for my language.
No, you can say that. Depression, postnatal depression and anxiety suck.
And I was thinking, I don't want this kind of life. I don't want it for my kids. I don't want it for myself. This doesn't hit even the decent enough. This is worse.
No, it's surviving, and life is so much more than that.
Exactly. And I was thinking, I need to change something. And to be fair, I had no idea what. I was like, okay, things need to change. Good. Now,
so how did it feel? Sorry, because I feel like this is such an important topic, because I know a lot of moms who are going through postnatal depression and anxiety. They don't have the right knowledge, let's say, to get to that point. The action taking, the getting up on your feet and saying, I have had enough of this, like being fed up with your own complaining, because that's what happened to me. I was fed up with my own complaining. I was fed up with being average. I was fed up with the life that depression had me stuck in. And so how did it feel right in that moment when you were transitioning between I'm done being a mom to literally half an hour after being, okay, something's got to change, even when you didn't know yet what you were going to do, but you had that shift in your mindset that made you say, okay, I'm going to do something about this. How did that feel?
It felt empowering, I'll say, because I felt like just half hour before I had no control over anything, not even my own emotions, not even my own life. And half hour later, I started feeling something different, saying like, you can actually take control of it. Like that small voice in the back of my head saying, if you really, really want to, you can actually do it.
Yes.
You're not doomed to stay like
Yes.
this forever.
Yes.
To be fair, before I had kids, I had some previous, let's say, traumatic experiences, and so I kind of went through a similar process before, and I knew I could get out of it.
Right.
So that kind of also helped, remembering that stuff. Kind of, I was just thinking like, you've been there in a different way, different situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same, and I was alone without kids, so it was a bit different for sure. But I made it before. I can do this again.
Absolutely. If you do it once, you can do it as many times as you want.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
And also knowing that there are so many other women that went through the same. It's enough to go on Facebook, on a parenting group of any kind, and you'll find for sure a few posts a day of someone going through this. So you know that you're not alone, and you also know that there are also other women that are there telling them, you can overcome this because I've done it. So
absolutely,
you can do it.
And how little it takes, how little it took you to get to that point of making a change. It took you half an hour call with someone who was caring enough to give you encouragement and help you to calm down. And sometimes someone who we don't even know can someone's words from sorry, I'm just getting all tangled up. Someone we don't even know, and their words can be so much more powerful than anybody in your family, friends, or anybody else who may be supporting you, which is still helpful. But I just want to point out how half an hour call made you go, holy crap, I'm done with this. It's time to make a change, right? And that's how fast it happens.
Yes, and that's why I also say to mums, don't just go and talk to your husband or just a random family member about this stuff, because they might help you and support you, but you also need to find someone who has the right tools. So this lady on the phone on the chat line, of course she's trained to do this stuff, so she knows what she's doing. And there are other charity that take calls from mothers, and they are all trained, and they can really help you even for 10 minutes. That can make a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't just go and talk to the checkout lady at the superstore, which she might be very nice and helpful, but talk to someone who knows this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I think also the downside of talking to family and friends, I mean, it's great having a supporting partner and supporting friends and family. However, their perception of you, well, as a person, has already been made up. So that perception is related to the way that you were before going through depression. So that's why they don't tend to take your condition as seriously, because they know that you were different and they can't get why you are now going through this. People who don't know you, such as the people who are behind the helplines, the personal coaches, people like me and you who support other moms, we don't have that perception. If we get someone come to us and say, hey, I'm going through postnatal depression, I'm starting blank, I don't have a perception of you that belongs to the past, the only perception that I have is you going through a tough time and me applying the right techniques, or yourself. I know you work with mums, but on a different field, and we'll talk about that
Yes.
after. The only perception that I have is you going through a rough time and me using the right techniques to help you, and that's it. There is no strings attached. And that is why, because I know a lot of moms who are going through depression struggle to make their voice heard, and getting the support from their partners especially. And sometimes they seek 100% understanding, and unfortunately that can't always happen because of what I just said, because that perception is there.
I'll also add something about partners. We also need to keep in mind that they also just became dead.
Yes.
It's a new role to take on also for them, and they might be struggling as well to find their own foot on this new, gig. It's like,
absolutely,
you just became a mom, and it's hard work, it's terrifying, and it's especially if you've never been around kids before, you are learning so much every day about this. And it's the same for your partner. It's all new to him, especially for men, because they are we women, we're usually a bit more around kids.
Yes.
It's more common. Maybe some of us have been babysitters for the neighbors' kids,
and it's in our nature to be naturally, prone to having to do with kids.
And we had an advantage. We had an advantage. We had the baby inside of us for 9 months, so it's for them it's like a bit shock, because you got used to having the baby inside of you, and for them it's like all of a sudden there is a new human in the house.
Absolutely, yeah.
We also need to remember that it's hard also for them, so that's also why they very often they don't see what we're feeling. They don't understand. They don't get it. It's not because they are stupid or anything, or insensitive, or they don't want to support you. It's because it's tough on them as well.
Yeah, it is tough. And you know what, and on top of dealing with all of the things that you just said, having to deal with the mom being depressed and anxious about the whole situation can take a big toll on their mental health as well. So I do believe mums should take it easy on their partners, and if they don't find the support, if you can't find the support, then reach somewhere else. There is always going to be someone who is going to help you and be able to have the right knowledge to do that. And then you can slowly work on your communication with your partner and making them understand what you're going through, and letting them know that you are doing something to actually get better. Because that's all that they also want to hear. They don't know how to handle the situation, so they can go into a bit of an anxiety state of mind as well. That being said,
yep.
What was your experience? I can't speak today. I'm like, how was your experience with therapy and all of the medical treatments that are available today?
So after that call, I got in contact with mental health services. So I'm in the UK, so I went through the NHS, and I got a couple of calls to basically assess my situation, and I hated it. I was trying to get to talking therapy with someone, and the couple of calls I had, the lady on the other side was horrible. I'm sorry to say that, but she was really mean. She was asking a lot of questions about also my parenting and all this stuff, and I felt so judged. She basically told me that you shouldn't do this with your kids. You shouldn't do that. And I was thinking, I know I shouldn't yell at them. I know. I know that it's counterproductive. I am aware of that, but I'm really struggling. Please help me.
Of course, we don't just yell at our kids because we want to. We are human beings after all.
I'm not having fun doing that.
Course.
So I'm actually on the phone with you because I need help and support.
That's right.
And you're just telling me off. And I was thinking, this is so wrong.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, yeah, but the talking therapy is 3-4 months wait. And I was thinking, 3-4 months? I cannot wait that long. It's I want to change now. I'm not saying tomorrow, but within
Yeah.
the next 2 weeks, please.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, because and I really didn't like talking with her on the phone at some point. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm taking myself out of this because this is
Mm-hmm.
not working for me.
Yeah.
Uh, just take me off the waiting list, because by 4 months' time, I know I would have found another
I'll
way.
find another way.
And I can give you a call in 4 months' time and tell you how much better I already am
Yeah,
without
and
your
for
help.
all the mummies who are not in the UK, NHS provides 6 free sessions to mums who are going through postnatal depression and anxiety, who are struggling. And prior to those 6 free sessions, you have to go through an assessment, which is what you did, and then you get on the waiting list, and then you do your 6 sessions. And if those 6 sessions are not enough, you have to reapply, redo the assessment, rebook, and be on the wait. So it's very, very long process. And I second traditional therapy and medication. They are great tools to have. Do I agree with the fact that they could be cheaper? Yes, for sure. Do I agree with the fact that most of the traditional therapists are not, I wouldn't say not capable, but are not haven't had the right experience to deal with mums going through postnatal depression? Absolutely. So it is up, I think, to all of our common senses as mums going through postnatal depression to find the right people that are going to support you, and kind of try and get out of the mindset and the limiting belief that only professionals can help you with this. This is not true, because worst case scenario, you're going to end up with a professional therapist who is maybe a man who has never been through motherhood and who doesn't even know how it feels to go through postnatal depression. He may be an excellent professional and he may be absolutely amazing at what he does, but he may just not be the right fit for what you are needing right now. He may be a right perfect fit for somebody else who is going through different mental health issues. On the other hand, you may end up as well going to see a professional who is a woman but hasn't become a mom yet. She may be an excellent professional, yet it's just so hard to relate. And you may just be lucky finding the right therapist who is helping you greatly. And that's all of these scenarios are actual reality. And do not feel ashamed, or do not feel like it would be wrong to reach out to people who have the experience, have been through the whole postnatal depression thing, and are actual moms and understand fully and have the right techniques in place to help you gain control over your life. I mean, this is reality, and the world that we live in today, there is so much connectivity going on that the opportunities are all out there. It's just a matter of grabbing them. It's a matter of getting to that point where Lena got, where she said something out of change, because this sucks. And so what did you do? What else did you do after that?
Well, I was like, okay, this road is not for me. Also because they will assign me just a random therapist. I wouldn't have the ability to choose who to work with. And because I've been in therapy before having kids, because of other traumas I had, I knew also the importance of finding the right person to talk to. In the past, I changed therapists because with one, it wasn't the right fit.
Yeah.
She was super qualified. She was great at what she was doing, but we both sat down and realized I can't help you. And so I found someone else, less qualified.
Which is normal. It does happen. Yeah.
It does happen. But through the NHS route, you're just stuck with who they give you. That's it.
You can't choose. Yes.
You can't choose. So it was another thing on my mind that I wasn't like, okay, well, let's maybe you're lucky, maybe you'll find someone great and it will work out, but be open to the idea that it might not. And after those calls, I decided this is not for me. Bye.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was kind of lost, to be fair. And years ago, when I was a teenager, my mom took me to an NLP seminar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been dealing with NLP for a very long time.
Very good of your mom, I must say.
Yeah, my mom gave me a great mindset in this sense that I'm always thankful for. That is, you never stop learning, growing, and improving.
Absolutely.
And money spent on those kind of stuff, whether are books, seminars, workshops, they are never wasted. Never. I
agree.
And so I thought, I need something maybe like that, because I remember it was really great, and it kind of stayed with me for many years. What he taught me during that seminar, and so I went online. I went like looking for this man, what he was up to, and well, I realized it wasn't for me. And at the same time, I ended up in a community online that was led by two coaches. One of them is an NLP coach. And he has been doing it for 20 years. He has worked mainly with women. But there was something talking to him that kind of, I was like, there is the right feel here.
It clicked.
It clicked, exactly. And I'm just going to say this, he's Italian. I am Italian.
Yeah.
So all that work was done in my native language. But
yes,
it's pretty much the basics of NLP are exactly the same in any
Absolutely.
language. So just keep that in mind. And so I started this program with him, this coaching, more like mentoring, I'll say. And in a few weeks, he already gave me some like small strategies to start, looking at things differently from another point of view. We started working on limiting beliefs that I was holding on to. And my life was exactly the same with my two kids, playing with them, taking them to activities, feeding, and it wasn't like a massive change, like moving or nothing like that. It was just the same routine, but my approach was completely different.
Well, yeah, I suppose the change would have happened completely on the inside and not on the outside. And that's what NLP does. NLP is not about changes to your outside world. It's changes to your inside world so that your perception about the outside world can change as well.
Exactly.
It's all about perspective,
It was a massive shift inside of me. And it was also starting observing myself, the way I talk to myself. When I get up and I look in the mirror, what do I think? And realize, and I was mind blown at some point, because I realized that I was spending so much time during the day talking to myself with that little voice in my head, and I was telling myself some stuff that I would never even tell my worst enemy.
Right. For example, what's if you want to share, because I know there will be probably similar to a lot of the things that I was telling myself, and that a lot of other mums who are going through postnatal depression are telling themselves too.
Nobody can love you. How can somebody even listen to you? Well, I was still losing weight, so I wasn't at my top shape, and I was thinking, that's disgusting. Just, don't even look at yourself. That you suck as a mother was just constantly.
I was waiting for that one.
That was like on repeat all day long. Every time something was not going well, every time I was like slightly raising my voice, I was saying, you see, you can't do this. It's you can read all
for
the
example,
books.
with the voice raising, in my case, because I used to do that. And I mean, all mums do that because we're human beings. We get frustrated. And even I myself, that I'm in such a better place, and I think of myself as being the most amazing mum on the planet. Sorry for the modesty. But that's where I am at right now. Sometimes I do fall into that trap of raising my voice. I did it yesterday morning, and
I did it too.
Yeah. Yay! I kind of lost it with my eldest because she wouldn't get dressed. I was running late, and I still have a little bit of anxiety creeping up every now and then, which I think happens to everybody. And while I've learned how to cope with it now, sometimes it's more in relation to time. When I'm late to getting somewhere, I get really flustered. And so anyway, I lost it with my young, and the first thing that comes into my mind is my mom's voice, or not my mom's voice, but in relation to my mom, I say to myself, here you go, you're just like your mother. Because my mom used to yell at me all the time. I used to get beaten up when I was a kid. And, you know, I tell myself, see, you're just like your mother. Because in my motherhood journey, I'm trying, and I think I'm succeeding in going into the opposite direction of how I was brought up. So that's little, you know, naughty little voice in my head says that to me, says you're just like your mother. And then I go like, no, I'm not. And it's just that simple when you get a negative thought to just go like, no, I'm not. I'm a good mom. And then at that same night, I apologized to my little one. I said, I'm so sorry for yelling at you. And she was so funny because she gave me a pat on the back and she said, it's okay, mummy. And that was funny,
yeah.
you know. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to recognize we're not perfect. And
Exactly.
I'm saying this because I want mums who are going through postnatal depression to feel like they're not alone in some of the things that they do. They are actually normal motherhood struggles, and they don't necessarily have anything to do with your depression or with how you're feeling. Yeah.
One thing that I always remind myself constantly is our children don't need perfect parents. They need authentic ones.
And happy ones.
Yeah, but I highlight the authenticity.
Yep.
So trying to repress your feelings to appear like you have everything in control, you don't fool them. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's better that they see that you actually are going through some emotions.
Yeah.
And they actually see you managing those emotions in a healthy way. That's so much better than just pretending that everything is fine and you have it all.
I agree.
Have it all.
So what is it? Tell us a little bit what you do, and then I have a question for you in relation to this.
Okay, yes. So I'm a parenting coach.
Yeah.
So I basically do consult parents on parenting issues, from breastfeeding to potty training to tantrums. That's one of the main ones.
Yeah, I can see why.
How do you handle a tantrum? It's amazing. I'm really fascinated by that area of childhood experiences. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so I do consult on all these different topics, sleeping troubleshooting and all this stuff. And I also do coaching. There are two different services. So
yep.
One is like a one-off, I'll say. You come with an issue and we talk through it. And the second one is coaching to help moms and dads also to find their new identity.
Yeah, in motherhood, well, parenthood. Yeah.
It's more like life coaches. So everybody has so many different topics. It's a bit hard to explain. You probably know that. I don't focus just on like, I don't know, returning to work, but some people come with this kind of things that they want to work through.
Finding the confidence to go back into the work.
How to find the balance. I don't really like the word balance because it's more about integrating everything in your life, all aspects of your life. So it's kids, the husband, work, social life, your friends, your health. I actually in the coaching, I do this. I help you get everything integrated.
So it's like a holistic type of approach.
Yes, I have a very holistic type of approach to life, I'll say, because everything influences everything else. So you cannot just take one thing apart and say, this is my work bucket, this is my family
absolutely.
bucket. It doesn't work like that. It's one huge bucket with everything inside. And it's I work on recognizing what your values are in life, what basically holds you up, what your needs are, because we all have needs that needs to be satisfied.
Absolutely.
And once you kind of spot this stuff, you can see it, and you can decide also, okay, I'll make an example of myself. At some point, I recognized that I had this need to feel myself again like an individual, special, valued for who I am, not as a mother, not as a partner, not as a daughter.
As a woman.
Self, Lena. And I wasn't expressing it in a healthy way. It was more like, I'll say like a neurotic one. So I was snapping when nobody was recognizing all the work that I was put into being a mom, into everything else. And I was being very mean, I'll say. I was really mean. And I couldn't even take a joke. It was felt like a personal attack on my worth. And I recognized that was a need that wasn't brought out. It was just, I was just repressing that need, pretending that it wasn't there, and then I was snapping at everybody. And that was really unhealthy. So what I did was like acknowledging that I had this need of feeling important. And how can I take care of it? Because nobody's going to do it for you.
No. That's it. I think that what you just said is key. Nobody is ever going to care about your well-being and your mental health as much as you do.
Exactly.
If you are not going to take those first steps towards getting where you want to be, nobody else will do it for you. This is so important to understand. And I'll let you continue.
Well, you do this with NLP. You find out what the limiting beliefs you have that are holding you back, and those limiting beliefs are actually connected to needs, to your human needs, basic human needs. So going deep and finding out this stuff and listening to what you tell yourself all day long, that's, you know that very well. That's what you do. That's what I do, but I don't just do it related to depression. That's not really what I focus on. I focus on expanding your life, going beyond.
So more like a life coaching experience type thing.
It is
so
life
because
coaching.
You are an expert in parenting as well, because you, as you said, you help mums and dads. It's only mums or both of them in dealing with tantrums and kids?
Both. Honestly, very often they are together in that place. I do consults with them together. I also advise on family relationships. So very often, especially in the first few years of life, parents struggle to communicate with each other about the kids. And I stress a lot about emotional intelligence. And how we own our own feelings. So I give them techniques to talk to each other without attacking the other. Without attacking the other one, so they can actually mutually understand, and they can find a solution without feeling like the other person doesn't listen, the other person doesn't understand me, all that stuff out of the window, and we learn a new way of talking about our feelings and our needs.
And you use NLP for all of this as well?
I mix it a lot with mindfulness. Because I don't know if you ever read Eckhart Tolle.
Yes.
The Power of Now.
Yeah.
So that he talks about being present in the moment. In the moment, there is no real danger, so you
Yeah.
can let go of.
Yeah.
I use that a lot.
Yeah. That's a great perspective. Yeah. Yeah. So can I ask you a question? Going back to the postnatal depression period that we mums go through, what is your point of view on how that affects our children in relation to their development? And I don't mean to make anybody feel guilty with this question. It's just good to be aware of, because I know that a lot of mums are stuck in that fog. I just want to give a different perspective on how important it is to take the action, to put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and to do everything in their power to actually get at the end of that tunnel. Because there is no such thing as not being able to overcome depression. It is totally possible, 100% for every and each one of us, because we all have, as NLP teachers, the resources to do that and to do anything else for that matter. So how in your, from your point of view, how does that affect our babies?
Okay, so with my daughter, I had mild depression, so it wasn't all that bad for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think looking back at it, what really helped was the bond that I somehow managed to create with her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
She was the reason I could cope so well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'll say that in that case, it didn't affect negatively
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
But when my second son was born, there was another thing. It was completely different, and it was affecting my daughter and
Mm-hmm.
him as well in a
Mm-hmm.
negative way, because
Mm-hmm.
me not being able to regulate my emotions, not being able to see any positive, was really taking a toll on their mood as well, especially my daughter, because she was my baby was still, well, a newborn, so all his needs were very basic, were feeding, feeling clothes, and sleeping and changing nappies. Well, we all know that it's, and
Repeat.
yeah, repeat, and that's it, on a loop. um the good thing was that I was very aware that babies need close contact, so I was always keeping him very close to me, although I wasn't feeling close to him.
Yeah, I know what you
So
mean. Yeah.
physically he was there and he was comforted. He didn't cry much. It was actually quite an easygoing baby. I was lucky in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it was me. I was just holding me and not feeling that love, that overwhelm that I had with my
Yeah.
daughter. And it was seriously affecting her, because we were fighting every day. She was crying so much. I don't think she ever cried that much in her life.
Mm.
And that was only building up more negative thoughts for me,
Yeah.
more negativity. And I'll say that in part I decided that I needed a change, not just for myself, for my life, but also because it was bad also for them. I could see it.
Absolutely.
She was sobbing her heart out in the other room, and I was like thinking, I cannot even go there and help her. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. That's
Yeah.
not what motherhood should be.
Yeah, and it makes you feel powerless, not being
Exactly.
able to actually have control. I think motherhood is all about having control over your day-to-day life, and over your own emotions, so that you can teach the kids to do the same, and they can tag along and follow that same, emotional stability.
Yeah.
And I mean, as I have previously stated in some of my lives that I have posted in the groups, where, mums support each other in postnatal depression, it's all about, in conjunction with all of the therapy, all the medication, and the extra support that NLP in this case can provide, because it's such a fast changing, um, type of support, and the results are literally they show up almost instantly. I do believe that there needs to be some sort of routine and structure in a day-to-day life, and as well as good habits incorporated in that, because there's no point going to the therapist and taking the medication and then going back home and feeling isolated and lonely and falling back into that state of mind. If you don't have a plan, if you don't have a step to step, then it's really hard, you just don't know where to turn. How am I applying everything that I am actually, the medication is helping me with the fog, therapy is helping me with getting all my emotions out, but how do I actually then go? Where do I go from there? What direction am I taking? What am I doing with myself? What am I doing with my day? What am I doing with my baby? And that's when anxiety creeps up, and that's why anxiety goes hand in hand with postnatal depression, because there isn't actually a guide that shows and supports what it is that you're going to do with your day-to-day life. So the unpredictability of it all catches you off guard, and you're just going to go, oh my god, this is too hard, I can't do it. So you get stuck in that cycle of going back to therapy and venting out how much anxiety you had for the past week, and then you're going back home repeating all of that again, and then going back to the therapist and you're like, oh my god, I was so frustrated because my week was terrible, I didn't know what to do with myself, and then you're just repeating and repeating and repeating that. And in some cases, I'm not saying therapy, because I know I can get a lot of comments and messages from professionals saying what you're saying can be harmful, whatever. I'm not saying therapy doesn't work. I'm just saying, or I'm not saying don't go to therapy at all, or don't be on the medication. I'm just saying, alongside with all of those medical treatments, there needs to be a support in place that is going to actually help you move forward and get unstuck. So,
for me, it was key to stop focusing on what was not working in my life and starting noticing that there were so many things in my life that were already great and I just couldn't see it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Once you get into that habit, it just falls like a domino effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything goes in place.
Yeah, absolutely. So where can we find you, Lena?
I have a Facebook page. It's called Connected Parenting with Lena.
Okay.
I'm also on Instagram, but I'll be honest, I'm not great at that.
It's okay.
And I'm planning to build up a website in the future. It's just that I've been doing this without any marketing before.
Yeah.
I just started helping friends, then they refer me to friends and friends and friends, and I kind of build my clientele like that.
Yeah, no,
and
that's
at some
amazing.
point, everybody was like, you should make a Facebook page because we don't know how to find you otherwise.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I'll just dive. I'm not good at social media, so it's like, okay, I'll try.
No, good on you for doing that.
I'm learning. It's like so much pressure. It's like, what do I do? And it's gonna take me a while to build up, but it's fine.
Yeah, it's a journey after all.
Yeah, exactly. So you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to finish up on the effect on the kids, because the moment I started making a shift within myself, everything changed also for them. My relationship with my daughter kind of took a turn for the better, honestly. And I also worked on the sibling rivalry between the two of them, because it was a big adjustment also for her. And all this kind of worked out well, and it's still working out well. I still have days when I was telling you before, I yelled yesterday at my daughter because she really triggered me at some point. I was like, oh, I cannot take this anymore. I really cannot.
Yeah. And I just wanted to say about that, it's not about you being a good or a bad mom. It's because we are taking in a lot from the outside world as well, and there may be something that's frustrating us and we are not actually, and they may not understand that. So that does happen because we are doing a lot of things in the meantime. We're not just
Yeah.
solely taking care of the kids. Yeah,
Yeah, and we are human beings. We're not robots. So we
absolutely.
do have emotions, all of us. And so it's normal that you get frustrated, you get angry. And even if it's caused by your kid, it's okay. It's not about the shouting, it's how you repair the relationship after. It's all
Yeah,
about that.
absolutely.
So, and it takes a lot of work. I do recognize that. But I guess we all want the best for our children.
Yep.
And so I can tell everybody that for sure it's an effort that is worth making.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And it starts with you, because if I didn't take my own mental health seriously, I would probably still be on the kitchen floor today
Yeah,
instead of here talking to you. And
absolutely. And telling your success story,
yeah,
um, it's amazing.
and I don't even want to think where I will be, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Can I also say how sometimes when these type of supports are provided and are there ready for everybody to grab, I know the first thought in mind is money, because a lot
Yeah.
of moms, are stay-at-home moms and they don't contribute financially to the family. And so, I mean, I've been there myself when I didn't have my own business and I was mummying all day long. I would, feel guilty if I bought something for myself, or if I, did something that was out of the ordinary, because, oh my God, I'm not working, I'm not bringing money. I totally understand all of those things. However, that guilt is going to it's not going to help in any way
No.
in making the shift and in moving forward. So that, I mean, I'm sure at some stage in everybody's life, for women especially, we had a moment there in our teenage, early 20s where we dreamt about having children and we fantasized about having the perfect family life, which does not exist, by the way. But what I mean
Yeah.
is that at some point we dreamt about, oh, one day I'll have kids, and one day I'll be like, doing, watching movies together with my husband and my children. One day I will be watching my kids playing sports, and one day I'll be doing that. And it's natural for women to actually fantasize about those things. And if you're not there, then that guilt is holding you back.
Yeah.
Because there are resources out there that are going to get you there. They're going to get you wherever you want to be in living a normal family life, where you are happy first of all, and then you are providing your family with stability. Women are at the heart and at the center of the family. If we're not functioning, the family
No.
is not functioning.
I'll also say this. I knew things really took a turn in my life when I started enjoying motherhood. When I
Absolutely.
was at that point that I was like, I actually like this. I'm having fun with my kids.
And that happened for me as well.
And I was like, that sudden realization, I was like, okay, this is the life I want. I'm
Yep.
on track now. I'm on track. I
Yep.
can do this.
Yes.
And once you start enjoying it, you're like on a roll, literally.
And you're like, how did I not do this before?
And I was like, it was so easy somehow. It just comes natural at some point. And I was like, okay, this is me finally. I'm back. I'm
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And when that hits you, you know that you're over it.
Absolutely. Yes.
And it brings so much satisfaction, honestly,
Yeah.
on a personal level, that you know you're there, you've done it. It's great.
Yeah.
And you can pat yourself on the back.
And that's how it felt for me too. I mean, it was amazing. I'm now able to, I bloomed. I feel like I bloomed into a more confident woman. I went from being this little girl. If I look at my photos when I was pregnant, and I'd be like, oh my God, I had no idea what was
I'm a
raising
different
me.
person from that woman.
And
I'm a
yes,
different person.
absolutely. And, I am now more confident. I am living the life that I always wanted to live.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this because I know how hard it is for someone who is going through postnatal depression and a tough time in motherhood to think that it's possible for them as well. but it absolutely is. If I did it, if you did it, if many other women did it, then so can you do it. It just, don't be cheap with yourself, because this
Exactly.
is important.
Before I had kids, I actually I was already like into the whole coaching life thing. It was really interesting. I've always been like that kind of girl that will like learn and improve and do a lot of self-help stuff. And I ended up learning a lot about money mindset. And one thing that I was taught by my mom, as I said before, was lucky, is that if you do not invest in yourself, nobody else will. So you kind of need to take that step. And when I decided to go with my mentor, I was like, I've had very little money in my bank account. I had to use my credit card and just hope that it will
hope for the best.
And I was like, okay, this is a leap of faith, literally.
I
just putting myself in the hands of the universe, and I'm just gonna have to say, let's hope it goes well, because that's all I had in that moment. And surprisingly, towards the end of the month, I got a few mums that I worked with before. They called me again and they said, listen up, you've been doing this for free, we feel really guilty, can we just make a donation? And I was like, this is my bank account.
That's so nice.
And that money covered the mentoring, and it kind of all balanced out. Now I'm not gonna say it's the same for everybody else, but
and it's not the same for motherhood, but the gratification that comes with it is different.
The universe will find a way to support you, but you kind of need to take the first step, because if you don't, you don't believe it.
Absolutely.
And I'm not suggesting that you all take your credit cards and go in debt for this. It might work for some, it might not work for others. But if you don't take any action, nothing will change.
Nothing will change. And you know what? My favorite saying is, nothing will ever happen from isolation. So if you are stuck and you are continuing to stay stuck and hoping for the best without any type of intention to want to get better, I'm just talking about the mummies who are going through postnatal depression, because that's what I do. Then there are people who are spending money on business mentoring and mindset mentoring and all sorts of things. Do not be cheap with yourself. People are spending money on things that don't matter. You need to spend the money on things that matter, because your mental health matters more than anything else in the world. And the money will find its way back once you are living a happier life. And even if that money doesn't make its way back, it doesn't matter, because it would have been worth it in the long run, because you'll have a happy family, you'll be happy yourself, and you'll be living the life that you are deserving of. Everybody deserves to live a happy life. And
everybody.
If you don't take steps towards that happy life, then nobody else is going to do it for you. So nothing will ever happen in isolation.
What my mom always told me is, life will knock at your door. Opportunities will knock at your door. You have to get out of the door to go and get them. And once you get out and you show to the world that I'm here, I'm ready, give me some opportunities, they will come. So
absolutely.
But you are the only one who can take that first step. So I
have to be ready for it.
I understand that money can be a real issue for some families. I'm not denying that, but what I also say is that if you're there in the moment and nothing is changing, something has to move, something has to change. And
money is energy. Money is not actually energy, money means nothing. It's just a piece of paper, really, and it's the meaning that we give it that is making it what it is, really. At the end of the day, it's just energy. You pay someone.
We have a similar money mindset. So we see money as just a tool to achieve something more. It's what it is. So I always invite people not to spend recklessly, because that's not what I'm saying.
No.
But if you put your money to good use, it will come back with interest. Trust me, because I've done it.
Absolutely. And you know what? I understand how a lot of therapy sessions may cost a lot of money, 200, 350 pounds or dollars, whatever. Look into options that may suit your current financial situations. There are so many options out there that are not as costly. It's just a matter of making that decision. I feel like when women make a decision, nothing is going to get in the way. If your decision is to have a better life and to make more out of your everyday life and to be deserving of what you really want and to get out of this sucky, mediocrity that depression has you got, because that's reality, then that's it. You just look at your options and then just make that first step. And then after the first step, you'll be able to make another 2 and another 3 and another 5. It's a journey. And, a lot of mummies ask, how long does it last? When will I get better? I hope this video is giving you literally the answer to that question, because it really depends on you at the end of the day. So what are you willing to do? Where are you willing to go to make yourself feel better and have it last as little as possible? It may take longer for me, may take a shorter period of time for you, because we are all different individuals. But that spot
sorry.
That's okay.
If you take yourself seriously and you decide, that's it, I had enough, this is going to change. For me, it really took a couple of months to get into a much better place, and what I was saying before, starting really enjoying my life again. It didn't take that long, honestly.
No, it doesn't. And when you make that choice that you made after that half-an-hour phone call that you had with the helpline, you are already halfway there. Literally. I agree. That's how easy it is to be halfway there, just by deciding that something has to change. And I feel like it's so important to not put our mental health in the back burner, and just to sit comfortably waiting for something to come our way to change our situation. And I don't ever want any mummies who are going through postnatal depression to feel like they're less than mummies who don't go through postnatal depression. The reason why you are going through it, just because you are living your own story, and whatever happened before you became a mom has maybe brought you to this point where life is just telling you, hey, some things need readjusting. It's about taking a redirection. It's not about the end. It's about the beginning of something new. It just means you have to redirect and readjust your mindset, your inner connectivity with yourself as a woman, for you to have a smooth transition into motherhood and have that happy life that we were talking about. It's just as simple, really.
I don't know if this is the case for everybody, but for me, hitting rock bottom, actually now I can see it in a different light. It was an opportunity to let me now appreciate everything I have. Absolutely. And the life I then built. But without that rock bottom, I don't know if I could see it the same way. So we are taught from a young age to fear depression, it has like a stigma all over it.
It's a big stigma, And you know what? Your rock button may be a different stage rock button for somebody else. And that's what I mean. We're all different. We all have a different story. And that's why it can last as long as it has to, depending on you as a person, as we are all different.
But start seeing that rock bottom not as something so dark and negative. It's an opportunity to get back on your feet and start climbing up the ladder again and get to a better place.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
It might even take you to something so great you never even dreamed about it before. And
Yeah.
someone maybe who doesn't never really go there, down there, might
Mm-hmm.
never really appreciate
Yeah.
something like that now you have.
Yeah.
So also just start seeing that as
Yeah.
an opportunity and not as your
As the
whole cost.
end of it, end of it all. Yeah.
Exactly. You have so many more direction that you can take from
Mm.
there. You're not really stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything that you said. I'm going to have to wrap it up, Lena, because
That's fine.
I'm afraid my recording is going to go like, okay, you've exceeded your time.
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful to have had you here with me for this. I feel like this chat has been packed with a lot of,
Yeah, it has.
inspiration, insight, content, and I am hoping from the bottom of my heart that it will give all of you mummies who are going through postnatal depression the right motivation and the right inspiration to think of it as a journey, to think of it as, as you being in control of your own story. And as always, as all of you know, I offer a free initial session where you have the chance to be with me for 60 minutes, where we can walk through your situation and talk through how I can help you. And if you will want to contact Lena, she is on Facebook. Let us know the name of your Facebook page again.
Connected Parenting with Lena.
Connected Parenting with Lena Santi as well.
No, just Lena.
Lena.
It's just
Okay,
Lena.
I'll pop it on the description anyway for
Yeah.
everybody to find you. So yeah, and shall catch you up next time. Thank you so much, Lena.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.